Hello everyone, my name is Eladin Bar. Welcome back to our channel. I'm the CEO of Robot Lab, and today I'm here with Aaron Park, the head of Robotis US. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me over today.
Yeah, sure. So we are working with Robotis for, I would say, over a decade now, and you have a lot of really exciting, really engaging products. And I wonder, I mean, we all know about your products, but I wonder a little bit more about, the back, story, where Robotis, came from, why it started, why focusing on education. If you can share a little bit about that, it would be great.
Sure, I think that's a good question. So from my understanding, or from what I heard, since I wasn't joining from the initial stage, the company was founded in 1999 by Bill and Mr. Ha, both are the former champion of the RoboCup, and they are both engineers and working as a team, and even got the championship in one of those RoboCup competitions. And after that experience, they really wanted to make a robot that can do many things, of course. And as I look around, any robot company they have seen or heard of was mainly focused on the industrial robot setting. So they thought maybe they can start a company that can make a good components for the any robot builders. So 1999, I think that's how the company founded, with the question, what is a robot? And as you see on my screen, robot is together robotis. And from then on, they start to focus on core technology around the servo motor, now brand known as a dynamic cells. And that became the core technology, or the base and the foundation of our company. And after 20 years right now, of course, from my understanding, all the top 100 engineering schools here in US, and of course worldwide community, they all love to use our dynamic cells. And as we begin or continue to care for the STEM education, we thought creating a systematic pipeline would be a good, valuable thing as a company. And they start to think, how can we bring the same technology that our industrial users or the engineers use into the K through 12 education? So there has been many different product line, but with a core, with a view of bringing those technology into K through 12 education, they have built from play series, some are known these days as a simple motorized movement, to dream more systematic with the curriculum and the workbooks, and Robotis Mini 3D printable integration available to STEM, premium, and these days engineer kit. And we like to be we call it a hardware platform provider, but these days more as a robotic solution provider. We like to make not only hardware but both software available to the students as well as to our partners. So I don't know, maybe I can give you more information, but I just don't want to take too much time of answering this question, so I'll just stop here for now.
No, it's great. So I understand, I mean, like many other robotics companies, it started from like university, professors and students that, working together, competing, and seeing the excitement, seeing, what can be done with that.
That's
which
right.
is a great, grassroots, base to grow from. So many, robotics companies have the same story. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is also the reason why you chose to focus on the education market and not like industrial or other markets?
Sure. In a sense, although we have a great ambitions, currently we had to find for the business operation the market niche. And of course, industrial robot sector was established by the big players already. And so looking at for the business operation, because as you know, it's not easy for robot company to maintain as a profit-making company.
Yes.
So for that reason, we've been trying to find what are the market niche. And I think starting from late 90s, that's when our headquarters is based currently in Korea. And at the same time, the government or the Ministry of Education in Korea start emphasizing more of this robot or STEM education. And so I think that's when that triggered us to grab that opportunity, where that's our market niche, something that we can compete against like these big toy players or big industrial market players. So we thought education market was something we can get into. But of course, at the time, we didn't realize that that was the kind of a very strategic move because we tap into the educational market. Once again, that gave us a opportunity to cover the pipeline because the students who use our technology, once they graduate, they continue to use our technology, or especially the dynamic zones. And in fact, from last 20 years of our business operation, I don't think we spend much on the marketing budget because it has been always word of mouth, people recognize or like to use. And yeah, I think that's the answer to your question in that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a very wide range of products. I mean, typically companies are like focused on one or two products, but you have,
That's right.
from the play series for, kindergarten level, elementary level, over to, the bioloid, range of products, over to the platforms, more into like college level. We have the OP, we have the Thorman now, and the big robots, the manipulators, and even the Turtlebot now. So, I mean, where do you see the most like exciting product, or where the market, or the teachers, the educators, the students come back and say, we want more of that?
So I agree with you in a good way, saying people say, Robotis has a nice product line for every age level. But at the same time, as you mentioned, because we are covering so many age groups or age level and with many different product line, wasn't easy for us to focus on. So in fact, I cannot disclose too much information at this time, but all the current or existing product line, we define it as Robotis Edutainment, Education plus Entertainment 1.0. And we are planning to release, we call it Robot Edutainment 2.0 for the Robotis. And starting from September or even early October, we are thinking to focus more on the AI as well as the coding aspect. And one of the complaint or some feedback from the customer was Robotis products may be good, but it's too hard or take too much time of building. Because it's all construction based, and some people recognize us as the true or hardcore engineering product. But once again, we have a desire to make our product more available and easy to use. So we are planning to release something almost like pre-assembled, so very less on time on the assembling, but give a more opportunity for the student to focus on the coding, as well as some AI learning experience, such as object recognition to even vision processing. So that's kind of a planning on our part, shifting the gear from Edutainment 1.0 to Edutainment 2.0. And not that many people may have heard about this, but our headquarters just became a public company last October. So with a success IPO, what we are also working on is on the delivery robot application. So I'm sure you have seen many type of delivery robot going around in the market. But
actually, I watched the video of robot streets of Korea. Yeah, I saw that.
That's right. Yeah. And the reason is we had a special sandbox clearance we got a permission by the city of Seoul to test out this robot in the pedestrian road for the next 2 years. So it's not commercialized yet, but we definitely like to focus as a solution provider in the service robot sector as well. And so that's one thing that's coming out.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I mean, and it's very interesting to compare notes because we see the same shift happening in the market as well. From, as you call it, edutainment robots, which is more, make the robot dance a little bit, and maybe program it a little bit to more hardcore AI, hardcore coding, and that's where the value is, right? I mean, for students,
Yes.
if we want to teach them a good skill, that they can go to college, go to work, or apply for any decent paying job in the future, it's way more than just I made a robot dance, here's my resume.
That's
They
right.
need more AI, more coding, more algorithmic background. So
Yes.
this is why we created the AI lab with
Hmm.
different AI stations, and one of them is around engineering, building your robots. We have a AI station
Great.
for engineering. So
Hmm.
that's definitely like a tectonic shift that we see in the market now.
Hmm.
Um, so can you talk a little bit more about the AI aspect of Robotis? What's coming up? What can we expect from Robotis products?
Sure. So AI, even the word itself is pretty broad term
Yes.
in the range, and of course, people may have higher expectation when it comes to the product.
Yeah.
But as we consider and as we experience in even our development, there's definitely many things we can offer to the students for the AI experience. But as we design our product, we start to focus more on the level of the current classroom structure
Mhm.
or the student. So until now, in a sense, we've been building or releasing our product at the eye level of the engineers, but now we like to really make it more practical and even in a realistic sense, or how really meaningful and useful when the students really use this product for the AI learning. So in a sense, we are still somewhat considering, but on a hardware capability, we did our best to have more the vision processing aspect as the emphasis, because there are many cool or fun or interactive topics that they can get their hands on. But in terms of the curriculums or the resource that we provide with the product itself, in a sense, still considering what is the best way. That's why I like to even mention to you, Elad, or even to you, to your team member, or even to your customers, if there's anything that we can do better to support, we'd like to hear from your team. And in fact, with the AI focused or slash with this edutainment 2.0 coming up, what we are planning as a company is we like to present a platform, whether it's a website domain, uh, where many students or community members can exchange their ideas. So more like an open source community, but at the same time, be able to freely share their learnings or resources, or even some basic code as an examples. So we have so many things coming up, maybe in the coming Q3 or Q4, but we really like to make not just a product at this time, but make a solution as the web content as well as the learning experience can be enhanced more as a community base. So maybe you can stay tuned, and hopefully we can share some more information in the coming days.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and yeah, I encourage all our viewers here. I mean, if you have any feedback, I mean, I know Aaron for many years, and they always listen, so that's definitely
Mhm.
welcome. So, talking a little bit about code, in the online learning, environment and all of that. As an educator, what type of products or let's call it coding languages, I can expect for different age groups. What do you support right now?
So we, Robotis, has been providing our own software suite, like Art plus Task, Art plus Motion, many different Robotis, our own customized compiler in a sense.
Mhm.
Our initial product or the view was, how can we make this real programming language easier to the students? So we're trying to make something between based on the real text-based commanding and the GUI. And that's how Art plus Task or Art plus Motion came out.
Yeah.
But we recognize that it's still not that easy for the users at this time. And currently, from our understanding, or the mainstream of the students or the teachers are more familiar with the Scratch or Blockly,
Yes.
and these days even the Make Code. So recently we tried our best to make those Scratch, Blockly, or even Make Code compatible with our product line. But all those upcoming products are still in consideration, but now we start to focus on the Python. And because Python is, in a sense, is a base for any AI software related. So even engineer kit that we just released, starting from 2, we are providing some Python related content. Of course, we do have our own Dynamics SDK, which is a C++ based with many different operating system background. But of course, we're trying to be a so-called a non-agnostic on controller or the software itself. But still, for the educational, especially K through 12 education, our answer will be the Python will be the main focus at this time.
Yeah.
And of course, as you go on to the more advanced level, ROS, Robotics Operating System environment will be the main focus of our product lines.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, Python is the de facto the robotics and AI language right now. Like every robot out there supports Python. It doesn't matter from the cheapest one to the $50,000 robot. So that's definitely definitely the right approach. So I know you have a lot of really exciting competitions going out there. Can you talk a little bit about that? How, if I'm an educator, I just got your kit, how can I participate? What does it mean? Or, where the competitions are being held?
Sure. So from my understanding, still robotics is only very limited to a very certain percentage of the student population here in US. So as we provide this hardware, we always thought about the way, how can we bring more students be able to participate in this type of robotics competitions. So we've been working very closely with an organization called Stink Up Education. It's a nonprofit headquartered based in Korea, but now have many alliances in, I think, 14 other countries. In fact, we are just starting the Stink Up USA sector, and I'm in charge for that competitions. Competition, I think, is a very important because that's kind of a good triggering point or opportunity for students to be more really being creative in a sense in the design aspect, but at the same time be able to learn from one another as they face the challenge or participating. So we definitely have a high emphasis on the competitions, and in fact we've been participating on the RoboCup, and many people may have heard about that competition, and we know the value and the benefits of students being joining or participating in this event. So recently what we are doing or trying to do here in US, and with the coronavirus currently going on, there's some limitations about gathering this large audience people together. So what we are initiating is so-called the monthly competitions. I mean, online monthly competition. And there are many different ways you can participate, but something simple as simply creating your design or a simple robot out of the box, not according to the examples that we present, but with their creative ideas, if they can showcase and maybe capturing the processing of building that robot or designing the robot through the YouTube. And as long as you submit that like 1 minute or 2 minute video with your presentation kind of aspect, you can be recognized and even awarded.
Oh, nice.
And so we are still somewhat planning stage, but if you're interested, you can go to stinkupusa.org, and hopefully Elad can make a little caption later on or adding some more information. But for those who might be interested to joining in, I like to encourage the stinkupusa.org website for your reference. And of course, there are many different type of competitions from pre-kinder all the way up to college level. So we like to encourage anyone who have used any of our robotics product, definitely consider to participate in the coming days.
Yeah, so I mean, with great products, with great, content, with competitions that support all of that. I mean, looks like Robotis is like right there in the center, in the heart of education. And it's great, working with you, with your products, with your tools in education. Would you like to mention a little bit about the Dynamic Cell product line for maybe more on the research side or university side?
Sure. So if you have not heard about or used the dynamic cells, you've been missing out.
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
agree.
we call ourselves as the best servo. It could be a little somewhat pricey, but if you're considering all the aspects, you will see it's not really expensive. Meaning, dynamic cell is not just a DC motor, but has a encoders, network, communication, everything all together in a compact design. So not only are you able to control the speed, position, and torque, but able to receive many different feedbacks.
Mhm.
And in fact, many AI companies, the reason they've been utilizing those servo was able to collect many different data in their applications.
Yep.
And Dynamic Cells has been widely used to all the defense contractors. You can name NASA, JPL. We cannot disclose where those has been used, but few of the applications in the space right now
Yep.
also being powered by Dynamic Cells.
Nice.
And you can name all the IT companies and
Well, I can
Google.
disclose that we're using it in our product. So
Great, that's right.
yeah, we
So
built, our robotic arm with that. We built our rover with that. We built, many other projects based
that's
on
right,
dynamic cell motors. So
correct. So, but Dynamic Cell has not really been known to the hobbyists, mainly because of the price barriers, I assume. So we've been trying to produce or present some lower cost. In fact, we've been actively in conversation with many different controller chip makers. As we claim our dynamic cells as a controller agnostic, we like to make our technology available to any chip makers as well. So whether it's an NVIDIA, Qualcomm,
oh,
Intel, or sorry if I didn't name your company name, but
no, it's
even
okay.
Arduino or Raspberry Pi, it doesn't matter. We like to make those compatible. And the great thing about dynamic cells is one hand really these days with the 3D printing integration, meaning any practical application you can build using the 3D printer. Uh, because of the pricing point, I know you might have used the more cheaper version of the hobby servos. But if you're really making something useful or practical and requires some more of the advanced functions such as a feedback controlling, strongly recommend to try out our XL320. That's one of the low cost version. But we believe Dynamicsel can definitely differentiate some of your application that requires any motions. We truly believe this has been one of the great technology that we feel also happy uh, to provide all the makers, engineers, and developers.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, your robots are a great, showcase for what the dynamics of, platform can do. Like the Mini, I mean, the one behind you,
Mhm.
is actually running on this 320 as well.
Yeah.
So, and it's a fully functional, small humanoid robot,
Mhm.
which is a great platform for especially beginners that don't want to spend thousands of dollars to begin with just to practice with the basics of robotics. So yeah, the 320 is a great platform.
Sure. I just once again thank you a lot for arranging this time. I do appreciate for giving us the opportunity. And once again, Robotis as a company, we might be somewhat short in providing a more easier way of approaching or using. But I just want to encourage you to continue to follow us and anticipate the great technology can become more readily, easily available to all the educators and the parents. And once again, our main focus is really to hear your voice. And we cannot maybe take an action immediately with some limitation on internal level, but our view is always hearing the market and hearing the customers' need And that's kind of area we somewhat been short before, but we are trying to enhancing that aspect. So once again, your voice and your feedback is very important. So please do feel free to contact us with any questions or feedbacks. That will be all greatly appreciated from our part.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll include the links down in the description below. And if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to help anyone about any product. Thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate your time and joining us today. You have a great product, and we are more than excited to see what the Robotis 2.0 will bring with the AI and the coding platforms. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you.